If you think being an aerospace engineer is stressful now, try doing it in the 1960s, when computers are less powerful than today. Smartphones and lives are frequently lost due to experimental technology. These engineers literally put their lives on the line trying to conquer space. And when the worst happens and these projects end in disaster, it can mean billions of dollars down the drain and sometimes even a loss of life. Today, we'll be taking a look at 3 rockets that exploded before launch. Starting off our countdown, we have the N1 rocket. This massive Soviet rocket was an attempt by the Soviet Union to catch up with America's Apollo program, which had beaten them to the punch by several years. Not only did the Soviet Union want to land astronauts on the moon, they wanted to do it with style. The N1 was a monster of a rocket, even bigger than NASA's Saturn V. At 105 meters tall, it was the tallest rocket ever built at the time, and its first stage alone was the size of a 12-story building. It was powered by 30 individual engines, which produced a total of 10 million pounds of thrust. To put that into perspective, the Space Shuttle's main engines produced a combined 3.2 million pounds of force. But having this much power comes with you have to have a way to control all of those engines. So they do. And rip themselves apart. And this was where the N1 began to suffer from. The technology of the 1960s simply wasn't advanced enough to handle 30 engines firing at once. But it was a problem the engineers believed they could solve if they could just get the rocket off the ground. In space, the rocket would orient itself, and all the engines could fire at once without the risk of tearing the rocket apart. Unfortunately, getting it off the ground proved to be too great a challenge. All 4 of the N1's test launches between 1969 and 1972 ended in catastrophic explosions, either on the launch pad or shortly after lift. The N1 may have been the biggest and most powerful rocket ever built up until that point, but it was also the biggest and most powerful disaster ever created by a rocket as well. One of the test launches, N1's 3rd mission, managed to reach a height of 8 kilometers or 5 miles. However, soon after, the engines shut down due to a lack of coordination, and the rocket plummeted back to Earth, exploding upon re-entry. It was visible from miles around. Its fiery demise not only obliterated the launch pad, but killed 2 workers and injured 17 others. In total, the N1 program wasted billions of rubles, and the Soviet lunar ambitions were abandoned until the Soviet Union reformed, following the collapse of the communist government. Next up, we have the SpaceX Starship SN4. In 2019, Elon Musk revealed his master plan to build a fully reusable rocket capable of sending both humans and cargo to Mars. It's a big goal, but he's already made huge strides towards achieving it with SpaceX's other rockets, the Falcon 9. Musk plans to use the Falcon 9 for interplanetary travel, while the Starship will be used as a transport for passengers and cargo from Earth to Mars and potentially beyond. But in order to achieve that dream, Musk and his team of engineers have to work through some growing pains. In May 2020, SpaceX conducted a static fire test of the SN4 prototype at their Boca Chica testing facility. A few seconds into the test, a plume of smoke and fire suddenly erupted from the rocket, engulfing it completely and causing the whole thing to explode. Luckily, no one was hurt in the incident, and Musk took to Twitter to comment on the incident, stating that although disappointing, every great achievement throughout history has demanded some level of calculated risk, because there is no such thing as calculated risk. Fortunately, SpaceX engineers saw this as a valuable learning opportunity. Each failure brought them closer to success, and the next prototype was better than the last. SM5 was launched in August and remained aloft for 5 seconds, longer than any previous SpaceX. SN6, 7, and 8 were destroyed during testing. But SN9 managed to stay airborne for almost 6 minutes and reached an altitude of 10 kilometers. While all of these tests helped push the technology further, the SN4 explosion was important to the future development of the Starship, as it allowed SpaceX to collect data on how to improve the Raptor engine and the overall design. And today, Starship continues to make steady progress toward real SN20 and SN21 were destroyed during testing, but SN22 became the first Starship to successfully complete a full stack launch. SN23 and SN24 remain the current record holders with a maximum flight time of 8 minutes and an altitude of 39 kilometers. It's still early days, but SpaceX's rapid development shows no signs of slowing down. Last on our lists, we have the Delta II rocket. This was a medium-lift, expendable launch vehicle developed by McDonnell Douglas for the U.S. Air Force. It was intended to launch small satellites into orbit, usually into low Earth orbit. The rocket was designed to be simple, reliable, and cost-effective, which it largely succeeded at. In the late 90s, the Delta II was tasked with launching the first of a new generation of GPS satellites for the U.S. Air Force. These new satellites were part of the GPS, or improved required navigation and positioning system, blah. 2. These satellites were upgraded from their predecessors with better accuracy and resistance to jamming. On December 1997, the Delta II, carrying the second GPS satellite named GPS-IR-1, lifted off from Cape Canaveral Air Station in Florida. For the first 13 seconds of the flight, everything appeared normal. Then a catastrophic fuel leak caused the rocket to explode mid. The explosion sent chunks of metal and other debris raining down over the launch pad area, destroying nearby equipment and even damaging cars parked miles away. Miraculously, no one was hurt in the accident. The Delta II would go on to become one of the most reliable rockets in history, completing Obera 150 successful launches over the years. The reason for the failure of the second launch was determined to be human error. A bolt securing one of the interstate structures had loosened, allowing fuel to escape and ignite. The investigation concluded that the bolt should have been torqued to 150 inch-pounds during assembly, but a worker accidentally under-torqued it to just 75 inch. The bolt in question had been installed 3 months prior and inspected twice by 5 different people. No one noticed that it wasn't properly secured. After the accident, Delta to underwent a series of modifications to prevent similar accidents from happening again. These included redesigned interstate structures and more rigorous inspection procedure. Rockets are dangerous machines, even when they succeed. Sometimes things go wrong and explosions happen. Fortunately, in most cases, these explosions don't result in loss of life, and the data gathered from them helps engineers develop safer and more efficient rockets. From the massive N1 to the small Delta II, each of these rockets has played an important role in advancing our technology and helping us explore space. Their failures are a reminder of the risks involved in space exploration, but also of the incredible ingenuity of the engineers and scientists who make it possible. So what do you think? Do you know of any other rockets that have exploded before launch? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.